We've all played some of the best arcade games of all time: Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga. But what about the worst arcade games of all time? There are plenty of them, from Quix clones that reveal scantily clad ladies to present day redemption games. Today, I'm going to take a look at 10 of the worst arcade games that I've personally dropped a quarter into. These may not be the worst arcade games ever made, but they are games that unfortunately I spent money on and I did not enjoy. Let's start with a controversial one. There are lots of people who love this game. I am not one of them. Journey, based on the band, was released by Bally Midway in 1983. The band's instruments have been stolen by alien fans, and it's your job to retrieve each instrument. Basically, it's a series of mini games. During the stages, you play as the band member the instrument belongs to. Your character is basically a cartoon body with a black and white image of the band member pasted on top, the face. All the while, electronic versions of Journey songs play in the background. If you retrieve all 5 instruments, you enter a bonus round where the band performs in front of alien fans. I guess this is the part that people thought was cool, but at that point in the game, an actual tape deck kicks in and plays a real Journey song while you act as the bouncer, trying to keep the fans or aliens from reaching the stage. The gameplay is okay, I suppose. It just isn't very fun or engaging, in my opinion. Mylstar Electronics released a game based on the Three Stooges in 1984, technically titled The Three Stooges in Brides is Brides. You play as one of the Stooges, and your goal is to rescue the bride of all 3 Stooges who have been captured by a mad scientist. You collect keys to unlock room exits while running around and avoiding villains and cops. You collect pies to throw at your pursuers, hammers to destroy objects. You can also slap enemies. It's just a whole lot going on. It has terrible collision detection. And the worst part is that unless you're playing with 2 other people, so a person controlling each Stooge, the other Stooges become enemies as well. In my opinion, it's basically just a poor implementation of Atari's Food Fight.
Hey, watch out!
If you grew up in the 70s or 80s, you probably saw the TV show Name That Tune at least once. Players competed to identify songs faster than their opponents and challenge each other to name tunes in a limited number of notes. The arcade version, released by Bally in 1986, follows that same premise. Unfortunately, the digitized music often sounds nothing like the real song, and many categories focus on music from the 40s, 50s, or 60s, something an 80s kid likely wasn't very interested in. It just kind of leaves you asking, why? Another game that falls into that category is Hangman, a 1984 release by Status Game Corporation. It's nothing more than the traditional paper and pencil game in electronic form, except now you have to pay a quarter to play it. Instead of playing during recess on a rainy day, you're now expected to spend money on it at the arcade. I went to the arcade to have fun, not to play Hangman. Speaking of going to the arcade to have fun, let's talk about another disappointment, Professor Pac-Man. Attach the Pac-Man name to anything in the 80s, it was bound to sell, right? Unfortunately, this 1983 Bally Midway release isn't really an arcade game at all. It's a quiz game with simple puzzles that must be solved within a limited time. The faster you solve them, the more points you earn. The problem is, it's just boring. It offers no real entertainment value. The next two games come from Century Electronics. We touched on them briefly in our Mop It video. They created a convertible arcade system similar to the Data East Deco cassette system, allowing operators to swap games with minimal effort and cost. Unfortunately, this system produced some of the worst arcade games ever made. First up is Logger, a 1982 Donkey Kong clone. You play as a lumberjack whose axe has been stolen by a bird. I'm assuming it's a parrot, and your goal is to retrieve it. The animations aren't smooth, the jumping feels terrible, and the hit detection is atrocious. The controls alone make this game incredibly frustrating and not much fun. The same can be said for Hunchback, released in 1983. It's a platformer where you must rescue Esmeralda. Like Logger, it suffers from poor animation, bad controls, and frustrating hit detection, making it more aggravating than enjoyable. Next up is Kangaroo, developed by Sun Electronics and released in the US by Atari. It really wanted to be Donkey Kong, but it just wasn't, not even close. You play as a kangaroo trying to rescue your Joey. The game uses a single button, but instead of jumping, it punches. To jump or climb ladders, you push up on the joystick. The level design is weak, the control scheme feels awkward, and overall, it's just not a fun experience in my opinion. I know some people enjoy the game, I am not one of them. Traveler is an interactive Laserdisc game released by Sega in 1991. It's similar to Dragon's Lair and other Laserdisc titles where the main goal is pattern memorization to progress. To learn those patterns, you have to keep feeding quarters into the machine. These games are impressive the first time you see them, but after about a minute of gameplay, they become repetitive and dull. Again, that's just my opinion. Yours may differ.
Our computers have selected Marshall Graham to be our champion, but without your help, he cannot succeed. You are our last hope to defeat Volcorp. I beg you, help us.
To begin, you have one time reversal cube. You will need more. If you die, use the cube to reverse time and escape death. To save the universe.
It's mighty quiet around here. Too quiet.
Finally, we have Spy Hunter 2, released by Bally Midway in 1987 as the sequel to the 1983 classic. Where the original succeeded, this one falls flat. It forces a split-screen two-player view even when only one person is playing. For a driving game, there's very little sense of speed. It introduces shifting, but gives you no indication of what gear you're in, and you can't really feel it through the gameplay either. Enemies often appear beside you where you can't shoot them. Slowing down doesn't reliably bring them into position. Forcing them off the road damages you more than it does them. The developers tried to take the original concept and move it into a 3D environment, but in my opinion, they failed miserably. That's it. My take on the worst arcade games that I ever personally put a quarter in. Got a game you think belongs on the list? Leave a comment and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps the channel, lets me know that you appreciate the time that goes into making these videos. That's it for today. We'll see you next time. Until then, happy gaming. Peace.